So as things stand at the moment, this is the engine from the Insignia. Still a fair bit of work to do, as you can see. The block's been cleaned. This is a block from a Vectra, so this is the 1.9 block. The plan is to rebore the block to take the 2-litre pistons. The crankshaft and the oil pump from the Insignia has been ditched, and we're going to use the pump from the Vectra. We've got to fit a modified pickup pipe to allow us to use the standard Insignia Sump. So the Insignia Sump itself, this is the Insignia Sump, so we've had to cut a section out of the oil baffle to allow us to actually use the pickup pipe from the Vectra. Obviously we're going to have to modify that. Now the actual sump on the Insignia is shallower. God knows why they've done that, but the good thing about it is that you can actually remove the sump with the engine still in place, whereas with the Vectra it's a bit of a pain. You've got to obviously drop the subframe and struggle your guts out and stuff, but with the Insignia, because the sump is shallower, you can remove it in place. The issue obviously with the Insignia is the oil pickup pipe and the seal itself starves. The seal becomes very old and brittle, and then obviously allows air to enter the oil stream, which then damages the pump, which then in turn damages the crankshaft and lots of other things. On the Insignia, it had literally just destroyed itself, so the only thing that remains from the Insignia will be the sump. We'll remove the pistons from the Insignia block and fit them to the Vectra block once it's been rebored. The cylinder head from the Insignia should go straight onto the Vectra block. The head gaskets are virtually exactly the same. The cam carrier, this is the cam carrier for the Insignia. The main difference between the two is that the cam carrier on the Insignia only has 3 bearings, which I've got to be honest is a mistake. The cam carrier for the Vectra has 5 and is much more strong and durable. I know that there is a problem with the bearings in these Insignia cam carriers. They do fail from time to time. The other issue obviously is with the Insignia, you've got the oil pickup for the turbo is built into the rocker cover, which is fine, that's not too big an issue. On the Vectra, obviously the pickup pipe goes into the block, which is here, so we're going to have to blank that off. Now on the Insignia, the oil dipstick goes into the block. It would normally sort of sit here. Now for me, I looked at it and I thought I could drill into that and I could make a hole and put the dipstick into it. I have decided against that because it's very close to a lot of oil galleries and I don't want to run the risk of ruining the block just because I've missed with the drill bit. So that means that I won't have a dipstick. However, the Insignia does have an oil level warning light, so I'm going to be relying upon that to tell me when the oil level needs topping up. It may be something that I have to look at again at a later date. The other thing with the Insignia block is that the turbo drain goes into this part of the block here, whereas the turbo drain on the Vectra sits here. So going to have to actually pop out that core plug there. The Insignia drain will then go into here. It's even got a thread there for the Insignia drain as well on the Vectra, which is incredible really. There will obviously have to be a plate that goes over that to prevent any oil leakage, but you know, we're moving in the right direction. As the Insignia turbo itself, you can see that the oil drain for the turbo is there with the hole, which literally sits in there with the thread right next to it to make use of that. There are other modifications that are required. You literally have to cut a lump off the Vectra block in order for this to fit, which is fine. A few other bits and pieces, but ultimately they are very, very similar engines.